Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and today we are going to have a proper version of Galvatron versus Silver Surfer here on this channel. Comics Galvatron versus obviously 616 Silver Surfer. Let's begin, and we'll start off with Galvatron, but this time we'll do his hexes the same way we also do for, Silver Surfer here, and then we'll get into meat potatoes for their feats and stuff, or at least for their scaling. My apologies. Now, Galvatron possesses a plethora of hacks and abilities. He possesses the Heart of Darkness. The Heart of Darkness is known as the anticipus to the Matrix of Leadership. Where the Matrix is the literal power of life and order itself, the Heart of Darkness is the power of chaos and death itself. And it's much stronger. Galvatron has also been able to use the Heart of Darkness to amplify his attack potency. He's been able to mind control Cybertronians as mentally fortified and as mentally strong as Drift here. He's even been able to use it to recreate an entire world that was destroyed, essentially reality warping and regenerating these Cybertronians back to where they were. Galvatron also possesses the power of the dead universe known as the Void. You see, with this power, and the dead universe is also confirmed to be its own universal stream, the Void kind of gives Galvatron a plethora of abilities here. He has regeneration, molecular manipulation, all right? He could possibly even do the same things that Nova Prime did with the Dead Universe, considering he is a much stronger avatar or a much stronger herald than the likes of Nova Prime here. And considering the sheer fact as well that this also boosts his power and obviously goes directly to his fusion cannon where he, obviously has some overpowered energy manipulation, right? But the Dead Universe is actually noted to be a much bigger universe, or I should say, a much bigger multiverse, considering the Dead Universe also has pocket dimensions within it. And all of these pocket dimensions are infinite in size with a 17 to 22 dimensional cosmology. And Galvatron has even used the Dead Universe to kind of instant kill people before. And again, he can also use it to bend reality and create whatever he wants here. He also possesses the gold power, which allows him to gain the power of the entire Transformers Omniverse, which also allows him to summon other versions of himself to come and fight for him. Even in the likes of Alternity Megatron, who is a 10th dimensional being, or a 10 plus dimensional being, with his true form being omnipresent. So again, Galvatron is able to summon this with ease here. This would also help out with Galvatron's scaling here. And I guess, like I said, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes for the scaling immediately. Now, again, this is where we would also indicate that Galvatron is universal, which is true. He's strong enough to thrash around Optimus Prime. He's ripped a Megatron, a pre-or 13 Megatron in half. And he's done these things quite casually as well. Like, he constantly, like, no diffs or, like, mid diffs Optimus Prime, even to the point where Optimus needs help in order to jump him. And keep in mind this as well, with him being a threat or him having the entire power of the Omniverse with his gold power, with the Transformers Omniverse being infinite in size, containing multiple, and I mean multiple continuities within it, such as things like Dungeons and Dragons, a little bit of the Cthulhu mythos, and even some of the Marvel cosmology. Keep in mind that all these cosmologies are infinite in size, with the Transformers actually protecting it and having higher dimensional planes. Also, he would scale above Alternity Megatron, all right, who was able to defeat Hytherion. Hytherion is a threat to every universal stream. Universal streams are confirmed to be multiverses that are, again, infinite in size and have a 17 to 22 space-optimal brand dimensional cosmology, making these multiverses hyperversal with just their brand cosmology. And Galvatron is a threat to all of this. He's also been able to defeat characters like King Poseidon, God Neptune, who had the power of 5 Matrix of Leadership that had different functions but were just as strong as the original Matrix, he was also able to defeat Star Convoy. Let's talk about these characters, right? Star Convoy and King Poseidon would scale somewhat relative to each other, as King Poseidon himself is a sea-bound combiner, or at least he's a sea-con that literally prefers to be combiners. It's a whole thing with the sea-cons, like they prefer to be in their combiner state and stuff, but that's neither here or there. He's actually strong enough to go toe-to-toe with Star Convoy and actually able to rough him up until Star Convoy starts using his Matrix of Leadership powers and his Star powers, which is a fraction of the gold power, which again, as I stated earlier, gives Megatron the power and access to the entire Transformers Omniverse. And the same thing with Star Convoy, with him being able to use this power to travel through the Omniverse and even heading into universes that had alternate timelines of even things like Transformers Animated. And again, King Poseidon was able to beat him up for a little bit until he started using these powers and abilities. Then you have God Neptune, where Megatron was also able to go toe-to-toe, Galvatron, who was noted as Super Megatron here, after getting a boost from Dark Nova, which is I guess you could say like a spec of Unicron and stuff like that. It's a whole thing here. But again, Super Megatron is simply, Galvatron here, an upgraded version of Galvatron. And then the sheer fact that Megatron also took attacks from these many Matrix of Leadership and was able to take attack from God Neptune's Trident, which was above the Matrixes here, and sliced him in half. But then Super Megatron, or Galvatron himself, simply regenerated from these attacks. Keep in mind, the Matrixes themselves affect Unicron and other beings on a conceptual level, in erasing them from existence, erasing everything about them. And again, each of these Matrixes has something very different. They're able to destroy matter, able to destroy space and time. And again, Galvatron was able to tank these Matrixes like they're nothing. And then he was able to also adapt to them. Yeah, kind of like how Doomsday did when he got sliced in half by God Neptune's Trident. He actually simply adapted and evolved further into a much stronger Megatron. But that's going to do it for Galvatron here. I think his speed is kind of obvious, infinite to immeasurable. But let's move on to Silver Surfer. Now, Silver Surfer has a plethora of hacks and abilities here. And again, his scaling is pretty simple. Universal. Speed, simple. Massively faster than light to immeasurable. But you guys might want to you guys might want to hear the kind of scaling I got for him, right? Well, it's pretty simple here. Silver Surfer has gone toe-to-toe with some of the strongest entities in the Marvel multiverse, or at least in the Marvel Omniverse. He's actually been able to fight on par with Null, even being able to temporarily seal away Null when the likes of the Silver Surfer, keep in mind this is a merged Silver Surfer, by the way. I know it's golden, but this is honestly just a writer error, as again, not all writers really keep up with each other, especially when it comes to like color schemes, only story-wise apparently. And Null himself being able to rip Sentry in half and using the Necro Sword to actually decapitate Celestials with ease here. And Silver Surfer was not only able to hold his own, but was able to seal him away temporarily. And then you have his fight against Griever. Griever was a threat to the entirety of the 616 multiverse, with Griever also being known as kind of like the concept of entropy and destruction for the 8th cosmos. Basically, she's a Marvel version of a god of destruction, or a goddess of destruction, if you will. Griever was so powerful that she was more powerful than beings like Hulk, Gladiator, and even a young Franklin Richards. She was even able to turn Molecule Man into nothing more than a power battery for her demons. And again, you have the sheer fact that Silver Surfer was, he didn't beat her, but his plan was to simply stall her out for the time that they needed, or the time that Fantastic Four needed to come up with a decent plan here. And again, he did that to success here. Because again, even Griever was struggling just to beat him. Keep in mind, again, she no-dipped a young Franklin Richards. Now again, it's said that Franklin was weakened, which makes a lot of sense here. I mean, the dude's weakened in almost every major arc, right? It's ridiculous. But again, Silver Surfer was able to, hang with her for for like a decent period of time, though, and still gave her that work. So again, that will put Silver Surfer at an out-of-versal level. Considering threatening the Marvel multiverse, or at least threatening the 616 multiverse, actually includes other dimensions like Nightmare's imagination realm, even, aspects of the dark dimension, limbo, and many other realities that were within the 616 universe, or at least the 616 multiverse, my apologies, even the likes of Idrisil and stuff, and the 8th Cosmos, which is supposed to be above the main 616 multiverse. Silver Surfer also has a plethora of hacks and abilities, such as astral projection, energy disruption. Actually, he can disrupt anything with a energy blast. He actually disrupted Vision's phasing. He disrupted Wonder Man's ionic energy form, making them both unstable. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous the kind of stuff he can do. And again, he's physically tough. He's not a physical fighter, but again, he's physically tough here. This guy has taken attacks from Chaos War Hercules, Griever, Null, all right, Thor, Hulk, even in a rage, Carson Hulk. He's been able to go toe to toe and actually manhandled Scar. He's even been able to match the Hulk's strength before and to straight up zap this man of all of his gamma energy. He's also been able to use his energy blast to maul and injure the strongest characters in Marvel. Keep in mind, he also can do things like matter manipulation, molecular manipulation, as I said, astral projection, and astral disintegration, which means he can, destroy your soul. And there are many, obviously, his cosmic awareness to the point where he can know the weakness of his opponent. And in all honesty, that really does cover Silver Surfer. He's a pretty solid character. Now, let's talk about this matchup. Who wins this more often than not? Now, back then, I definitely would have said Galvatron takes this low to mid difficulty. Because again, Silver Surfer hasn't really been on that Skyfather level. He was always getting dog walked by characters like Thanos. He getting manhandled by characters like Odin and stuff like that. Again, Prime Odin, but again, he was getting manhandled by that. But with Silver Surfer Black and how Marvel's been treating him, this gives my answer a much more of an update, if you will, I mean, Silver Surfer being to interact and even move into the time stream under his own speeds, being able to interact and even rip apart multiple timelines itself here. And again, I still think that Silver Surfer is is faster still. I don't think that changes anything. I think he's always going to be the fastest guy when it comes to an argument with him or even characters like Sentry or Superman. He's always going to be the faster guy in the argument. Or even characters like with him dealing with beings like Thanos or Darkseid. He's still going to be the fastest guy in the room. But when compared to how he is now, he now has the power to rival those characters and actually might be able to win a few if he really puts his mind to it. Because again, he sometimes just doesn't. Even before then, I think he did have the power and capabilities of even being able to fight against and even beat Thanos. It's just that Thanos was him. But Galvatron was always at those levels with characters like Thanos, Darkseid, and Odin. He was always in those Skyfather calibers, especially with him being able to kill the primes, which are beings that sit in the same caliber as characters I just named earlier. And again, there are multiversal singularities which exist across all of time and space throughout the Transformers Omniverse. And the sheer fact that not only is he able to adapt to beings that have multiple matrices that can destroy matter, space and time, life, and, reality and stuff like that. But again, he's also showed that he's still a much more capable team buster. All right. I actually think that some of these characters would be able to fight against Null and Griever and do better. I actually think that Megatron would actually do a very solid job against Griever maybe even giving her a much more destructive fight. And then you have Optimus Prime versus Null, where I think honestly Optimus Prime would win it because again, Matrix is just kind of GG. But again, scaling above beings like Alternative Megatron, who is meant to protect, if not destroy, the entire Omniverse, and was even able to defeat Hytherion, who is a super dimensional being on that plane, and again is able to eat entire multiverses like they're nothing. Then there's the Heart of Darkness, there's the Dead Universe, there's the Gold Power. All right. And again, I'm not even talking about his connection to Unicron, because I don't think he really needs it for this one. It's unfortunate here. While Silver Surfer does have the hexes, most of his hexes really won't work here. I mean, you're talking about Silver Surfer disrupting things like concepts, disrupting things that are, outside of, I guess you could say, his range of his control here. Because again, he would have to fight an entire sentient multiverse in order to get past, or at least try to disrupt Galvatron's Dead Universe powers. Then there's the Gold Power, which also gives Galvatron access to the entire Transformers Omniverse. So in all honesty, while I do think this does update a little bit, I still think Galvatron takes this, but with Silver Surfer Black's feats, he takes it high difficulty. But that's going to be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. Peace.